What's up, guys? Today I'm taking a look at the Fenix LR36R floodlight and LEP white laser spotlight. And a little bit later on in the video, I'll be comparing it to the Fenix HT30R. It's an LEP white laser spotlight that has very similar specs to the LR36R. Not exact, but very similar. And then the Fenix LR35R. They both have 10,000 lumens. So we're going to do a side-by-side comparison between those two flashlights. But let's get into this video. All right, this is everything the LR36R comes with. I'll give you guys a nice look at the box. Product shot on the front. And lumens and runtime information right there on the back, but I'll go over that a little bit later on in this video. Comes with a nylon holster. Not terrible. I'm not usually a fan of the holsters that come with these flashlights, but this one is pretty good. You got the Velcro belt mount on the back with a snap. Some more Velcro right here on the top. This is decent. Here's the lanyard. It's more of a rope style, not elastic or anything like that, but it is adjustable. Spare rubber O-ring, a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, some warranty information, some more products from Fenix, and of course, the user manual. But you guys know all this stuff goes off to the side over here, and I'll give you a close-up of the Fenix LR36R. And while you guys are checking this out, let's talk about some of the features. The Fenix LR36R has a maximum output of 10,000 lumens, a max throwing distance of 1,260 meters, a max runtime of 102 hours on low, and a max intensity of 396,000 candela with the LEP, which is a Class 3B white laser. And pushing out those 10,000 lumens is 12 luminous SST25 LEDs with a lifespan of about 50,000 hours and a color temperature of 6 to 6,500 Kelvin. And I already mentioned the Class 3B white laser. It is a CT1 mini white laser. It features 3 lighting modes plus 2 special modes, strobe and SOS. And those lighting modes are controlled with a single side switch and rotary dial that seamlessly controls the brightness levels by dialing in the lumens. The LR36R also has an OLED display that reads the brightness, runtime remaining, and battery remaining. Inside, there are 2 5,000 milliamp hour 21700 rechargeable lithium-ion batteries that can be charged via the USB-C charging port on the outside of the body, or they can be charged through an external slot charger. It has an impact resistance of 1 meter and a dust and waterproof rating of IP68. The 6 means it's completely dustproof, and the 8 means it's submersible in up to 6 feet of water. All right, let's talk dimensions. It comes in at 6.33 inches by 2.21 inches by 2.17 inches. And now let's weigh this bad boy. Plop it right there on the scale. Yeah, 17.4 ounces, and in grams, 494 grams. So what exactly is the LR36R? It's a mid-size searchlight. So this would be good for search and rescue, patrolling, or just any outdoor use. And this is definitely a high output flashlight. 10,000 lumens, 396,000 candela. These 12 luminous SST25 LEDs, that's responsible for the floodlight. And then right dead center, that is the Class 3B white laser. That's going to be responsible for the 1,260 meters of throw. And that's the nice thing about the LR36R is it combines both into one flashlight. That's nothing new. We've seen this before, but the question really is, do you need a flood and a spot all in one flashlight? Meaning, what do you really need a flashlight for? Do you just need a flashlight to be a spotlight? Because there's other flashlights on the market that can do the exact same thing with an LEP white laser that's a little bit cheaper than the LR36R right here. And that's why I wanted to do the demonstration with the HT30R right here and the LR35R compared to the LR36R, because this also has 10,000 lumens. You don't have to pay anything extra just to get that laser in here. Once you add an LEP laser into a flashlight, it drives that price way up. So that's why I'm asking the question, do you need the fusion of an LEP laser and a floodlight? If you do a lot of search and rescue, I couldn't imagine why you wouldn't want the fusion of a floodlight and an LEP laser spotlight. But just know this is a fairly pricey flashlight at $360. If you don't need both, for example, if you already have a floodlight and you're just looking for an LEP laser, this probably isn't going to be the flashlight for you. Or vice versa, if you already have an LEP laser and you just need a floodlight, once again, yeah, you know what I'm going to say. But if you don't have either one of these flashlights and are interested in both combined into one, then yeah, keep watching this video. But let's quickly run down everything else on this flashlight. It's made of aluminum and it has a Type 3 hard anodized finish. Typical Fenix quality here. The flashlight looks and feels great in the hands. I think the form factor here is excellent. Very much like the Fenix LR35R, it has a very similar form factor where it narrows right here where the batteries are stored. That just feels really good in the hands. And in the underhand orientation, my thumb just lays naturally right there on that side switch. And speaking of that side switch, I'll give you guys a nice close-up of that side switch with rotary dial. Right now, it's locked out. So if you have the rotary dial all the way over, it locks itself out. But once I turn that dial a little bit, it goes instantly to the lowest level, which is 50 lumens. And you can see that right there on that OLED display. I really have to give Fenix credit. They've been stepping it up with the technology on their flashlights. No longer are they the boring flashlight that I was complaining about last year. So I had to give Fenix credit. They really stepped it up with their flashlights lately. But as you can see, as I turn that dial, you can see the lumens in real time start to ramp up. That OLED display is going to read out the brightness level, runtime remaining, and battery life remaining. And I want to talk about how these increments ramp up. So from 50 to 100, it goes by fives. Okay, you can see that. And from 100 to 500, it goes by tens. From 500 to 3,000, it goes by 100s. And from 3,000 to 10,000, it goes by 500s. And that's true for the Floodlight. When you're talking about the LEP laser, if I switch it over, it just goes by tens all the way from 0 all the way up to 350. On the opposite side of the side switch, you're going to see the USB Type-C charging port right there that is covered with a rubber flap. Cover that back up, and right there on the body you can see it does have a black stainless steel pocket clip. I do like the fact that it comes with the pocket clip to hang it on any kind of strap in a backpack or anything like that. You're obviously not going to be carrying this in your pockets simply because of the size of this head. It's not a terribly large searchlight, but carrying it in your pocket, yeah, it's large. It weighs over a pound, so it is fairly heavy for a flashlight, but overall, for what this thing can do, it's pretty portable and light in my opinion. Because like I said, this isn't really meant for everyday carry. You're just gonna plop it in a backpack or inside this holster on your belt. So I don't have a problem with the weight and size of the LR36R at all. I think it's a perfect size actually. Now let's break this open and take a closer look at those batteries. You can see the breaking point right there. And those threads are oiled and there is a rubber O-ring right there on the bottom of those threads. It does come with a spare O-ring, as I showed you guys earlier. And I already showed you guys the batteries here, two 5,000 milliamp hour 21700s. It's 3.6 volts. It does have the button top right there. And let me show you guys the inside. On the inside here, there are some springs down there. So it's a single spring system because right here on the head, you can just see two flat terminals. So two flat terminals on the head and two springs on the inside of the body here. I always prefer a double spring system, but just having one spring is better than none, so I'll take it. And checking out the tail, there is a hole at the end there for a lanyard. On the other side, no lanyard hole. That's where the pocket clip is screwed into. And this is what sometimes bugs me about Fenix, is they always put these tabs on the tail of their flashlight. So usually that means you can't tail stand it. But technically you can tail stand this because those tabs are somewhat flat, but this isn't a great tail stand because you can see it is very, very wobbly. Look at that. So technically you can tail stand it, so I can't really complain too much. But even if the wind blows slightly, it could knock this over. So do that with caution. Also, going back to the USB-C charging port right there, if I plug this in, and you can see the screen will show you the battery remaining and that it's charging. This will charge from 0 to 100 in about 3.5 to 4 hours, and it does have a pass-through function, but it's extremely limited. While it's charging, it will do low in flood mode only, so you can see I'm ramping it all the way up. It won't go past that 50 lumens. And I'm pressing the button here, it won't activate the LEP, so only Floodlight low will activate when it's charging. That's not great, but it's not terrible either. I'm sort of glad that they included a pass-through. All right, now let's go over the lumens and runtime information. I'll pop up the graph on the screen here. You got floodlight mode, laser mode, a fusion of floodlight and laser mode, and 2 special modes, strobe and SOS. Now it shows high, medium, and low for floodlight, high, low for laser, and high, low for floodlight and laser mode. Yes, high is 10,000 and low is 50, so that just naturally means that medium is 5,000 lumens. So I can sort of see why they did this, just so you can see the candela and the lumens at the high, medium, and low level. But this has a rotary dial where you can just dial in the lumens, and an OLED screen that shows you the display of the battery runtime and lumen output and everything. So this really doesn't matter. But what I really wanted to say was the 2 special modes, strobe and SOS. I thought this was really smart because you can see strobe is 10,000 lumens, and when you activate strobe, it activates the floodlights in full brightness level, 10,000 lumens. And usually I complain about a low lumen SOS, but Fenix was smart here. They didn't put the SOS in the floodlight mode, they put it in the LEP laser mode. So the SOS is extremely bright, but only 50 lumens. So you can see you get a 36-hour runtime? No, sorry, that is a 38-hour runtime and a beam distance of 527 meters. So I thought this was really smart by Fenix to activate 10,000 lumens in flood mode for strobe, and a low lumen SOS, which is giving you a 38-hour runtime, but a pretty decent throwing distance at 527 meters. And now let's talk about the UI. Typical Fenix UI right here, but now you have a rotary dial. So turn on the rotary dial and that goes right to 50 lumens. And to ramp up the brightness, just turn the rotary dial right there. I already talked about the increments a little bit earlier in this video. And to switch the modes from flood to LEP, just single click that side switch right there. So there's floodlight, LEP laser, and a mixture of both. And to reach the 2 special modes, strobe is first, so strobe warning. Press and hold the side switch for about 1.5 seconds, there's strobe, single click again, and that goes right to SOS. And like I said, you can see the laser is activated for SOS, and strobe warning again. Click that again, it goes right to that extremely bright strobe mode. To go back to your last brightness level, press and hold for about 1.5 seconds, goes right back to flood. And it does have a memory mode. If I turn this on, I don't know, 800 lumens, if I press and hold the side switch for about 0.5 seconds, it goes off. Press and hold again, and it goes right back to that 800 lumens. So there's 2 ways to turn on and off this flashlight. Either press and hold that side switch, or just turn that rotary dial right from that lock position. And there's a pretty nice click. There's a little detent, a positive detent. You can hear that click right there to lock out that flashlight. That's pretty nice. And the last thing I wanted to talk about with the UI is it does have a proximity sensor. So right there on the bottom, you can see there is a proximity sensor right there that will dim the flashlight if that sensor gets too close to something. In order to turn it on or off, what you want to do from off, press and hold that side switch for about 6 seconds or so. And the LED screen should show on or off right there. So I just turned it off, and to turn it back on, you do the exact same thing, press and hold for 6 seconds. I've had that proximity sensor off to do all the testing, but when I'm carrying this in a backpack, I'm probably gonna keep that on. So I tested out the lumens here. So the closest I could get to 10,000 lumens with my device was about 7,400 lumens. That's a 2,600 lumen difference from 10,000 to 7,400. Now, I should mention that I'm using a prosumer lumen sphere here. I know Fenix has probably a $10,000 lumen tester in their studio somewhere. Maybe even more expensive than that. So take my test with a grain of salt. But I should show you this. I tested 50 lumens here. That's the reading I got on 50, and 500 was almost spot on. So my sphere is accurate enough to say 500 is 500. And then this is my reading on 1,000, on 3,000, and on 5,000. And then you can see that big dip right there. It dips down to about 2,000 lumens. It was holding steady at 2,080 lumens after about 1.5 minutes of the highest brightness level. You can see it was right around 330 of 5 minutes. All right, let's do the beam test. It's cold out here. It's right around, I don't know, 18 degrees Fahrenheit. So when I turn on the flashlight here, it's going to start at 50 lumens. And you can see already we're getting some pretty decent illumination, even at the lowest level, 50 lumens. And it is a widespread beam. You can sort of already see the makings of that beam pattern right there. I haven't done a flashlight video in a while because it was a tundra out here and we've just had some warmer weather. And a lot of this is melted right now, but it was just completely frozen over. And you guys can already see, look at all of the eyes. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 or 9 deer there. And there's a few right there. Oh, man, this is a very bright flashlight and I don't want to blind those guys too much. But as I start, I'm going to point forward. As I start to ramp up, I'm just going to keep going all the way to full. Oh, man, look at those guys right there. Dude, there's 3 of them right there. Holy crap. And then, oh, my God, they're everywhere. I didn't know. I knew we had about 8, but there's a lot more deer here than normal. But that is full 10,000 lumens. I'm going to try to go around the deer. I'll put up a distance between me and that barn right there. And then me and that tree. Wow, there's so many. But if I hold the flashlight still and pan around me, you can see just how floody that is. And that is a pretty nice, evenly spread beam. You can see that right there. Color temperature of right around 6,000 to 6,500 Kelvin. And there they go. They're going to start running. Sorry, guys. I'm disturbing them. But that's that. And I start ramping down. Let's see if I can reach right around 5,000. There's 5,000, or sorry, 5,000 lumens. So there's 5,000 lumens. Not bad. Oh, wow. Did you guys see that? He just jumped over something right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13. There was 13 deer right here. Insane. All right. So you can see just how smooth that ramp is. That is a nice ramp. And that is a big positive of this flashlight, is being able to select the lumen output just by rotating this dial. So that's going to put this in a little bit better of a category than the LR35R that I was talking about earlier. Very similar lumen output, but no dial on that. So that is already a positive for the LR36R here. But now let's switch over to that LEP laser. So what is this? This is, oh, that's full right there. So I want to go all the way to low. So that is a 50 lumen laser right there. And that barn, I'll put up the distance between me and the barn again, and hitting the top of that barn right there. So that is 50 lumens. There's a trailer right there. And I'm sort of just kind of hitting those trees back there, the farther back trees. And if I pan around, hit that tree right there, easily hitting that. That's not too far away. But this is on 50 lumen low with that LEP. If I slowly start to ramp up and go all the way to 350 lumens, now you can really see that is a pretty nice throwing distance right there. 200, what was it? 1,200, sorry, 1,260 meters, 396,000 candela. Boom. And now a mixture of both. So that is flood and spot together. Check that out. I'll ramp that all the way down, go all the way back up, hitting the top of that barn right there. Insane. This is a really, really bright flashlight. So floodlight mode, I'm really impressed with the beam pattern here. I'm really impressed with this. I really like this. That is a really floody beam. And then just with the press of a button, boom, spotlight. Class 3B white laser. So that is the LR LR36R. I'm going to put you guys down for a second, and I'm going to check out the other lights that I have here to compare this with. Let's start with the Fenix HT30R right there. So this is on the low level. There's only two levels here, low and high. So that's low, and that is high. So this is also an LEP laser, but it has 500 lumens and has a throwing distance of 1,500 meters. So this is the closest comparison spec-wise that I have, considering, you know, I don't have too many LEPs. I have a few, but this is the closest one that I can find with similar specs to the LR35R. So I'll give you guys a nice idea of what this looks like and what the LR36R LEP laser looks like. And now the Fenix LR35R right here. So low, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the highest level right here, 10,000 lumens. So you can see this has more of a hotspot. I can see that right now. It has more of a hotspot than the LR36R. So the LR36R is a little bit smoother of a beam pattern than this one right here. But this one, I have to double check. I think this has a little bit more throwing distance. I just have to double check that. But if I hold it straight like this, you can see how much that's illuminating around me. But hopefully this gives you a nice idea of 10,000 lumens for the LR35R versus the LR36R, similar lumen output. All right. Look at my hands. Look at those. I was wearing gloves too. Absolutely insane. But let's talk about my final thoughts of the LR36R. I mean, I have to say it's a really cool flashlight, but I don't think it's going to be for everybody. Obviously, it's not going to be for everybody. It is a pricey flashlight, $360. So are you willing to drop the money on this if you already have a floodlight or an LEP flashlight and all you want to do is just get the other side of the spectrum. Meaning if you already have a high output floodlight such as the LR35R here, $200, are you going to spend $360 and you get another 10,000 lumen flashlight, but now you get that LEP laser? Or if you already have an LEP flashlight that you use as a spotlight, this is the HT30R, right around 200, I think 260 or 280 bucks. Are you going to spend 360 on the LR36R just to get the flood? The answer is probably not. The only way this makes sense is if you don't have either one of those types of flashlights and you're looking for a nice combo flashlight such as this. So that's why I said this makes sense if you do a lot of search and rescue, because it combines both into one nice convenient mid-size package. Or even if you're on patrol, if you're a police officer or a security guard, do you want to carry something this size just because it combines both into one? I don't know. I guess it's all up to you, but I can definitely recommend this flashlight just because it's freaking cool. But where the LR36R really stands out, in my opinion, is having this rotary dial where you can just select whatever lumen level you want. I think it's great. And the UI is really simple just by pressing that button and switching between the modes. So, what do you guys think of the LR36R? Would you be willing to drop $360 on this flashlight? All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the LR36R? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll also have links if you guys want to check this out for yourself down below as well. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe. My hands are frozen. I can barely even do that. Insane. And go!